Hello BookTube, my name is David. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a video that I was not planning to make quite yet, but since mail arrived, we're going to have a Steve Donahue style mail haul. I do know what's in here because I had to order them, but these books are courtesy of Joe Loves to Read. If you haven't checked out her channel, be sure to do so. I'm going to have her link down below. She's got a wonderful channel. She just finished a 5-year challenge of reading her entire physical TBR shelf, and so she is on an exciting journey to pick up and read new books for the first time in a long time. So definitely go check her out. She did a little giveaway as kind of a celebration, and I was chosen for that to get a gift card at Thrift Books, and so my order has come in. So I'm excited to dig in here and show you all what I picked, because who doesn't like books? And Thrift Books, you know, is wonderful because your money goes a little bit further than, say, Amazon or anything of that like. All right, let's see, what do we go with first here? Yeah, I think we start with this one. So, book number 1, Bookish, Sagas of the Icelanders. This is the thick tome of the haul here. It's 782 pages. Viking Sagas. January 2022. I am starting a 6-month read-through of these sagas that are in this specific volume. Pick up a copy. Join me January through June. Let's read them, starting with Eagle's Saga. I'm excited. It'll be a reread for me. It's been years since I read them. I really enjoyed them. I'm excited to dive back in, and I'm glad to have this back in my collection. So I'd love to have more of you join me in that one. I know some of you don't plan that far ahead. All right, so next, let's go with, all right, here we go. Boom! SPQR, A History of Ancient Rome by Mary Beard. I'm excited for this. This was on my Ideal Bookshelf video for Ancients. This is based purely on speculation. I will find out if this remains on there after reading it. But this is a buddy read that is coming up in October, I believe it is, with Very Literary Carrie. I'm excited to dive into it. I'm excited to read it with her, to have a good time and discussion going through this one. So, SPQR, I'm so excited to have that. Next, we have a book that I've wanted to have for a while. I know I need to read it, and that's this one. So this is the Nibelungen Lied. So this is 800 years ago by an unknown poet. I like anonymous poetry. Who knew? Beowulf, Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. Maybe this will join its ranks. It is a German epic poem of murder and revenge. I mean, what else do you need to know, right? Right. It's one that I need to read. Speaking of needing to read, a couple of these are medieval lit hauls. Sorry, not sorry if you're not interested, but you should be interested in something like, boom, Piers the Plowman by Langland. 14th century poetry, around the time of Chaucer. This is one that I know that I need to read. It's mentioned all the time alongside Chaucer as being one to read from that era. I have never done so. I've never owned it. Now I have fixed that problem. Thank you, Joe, for allowing me to fix that problem with a copy of Piers the Plowman, because I have never, ever seen this in the wild, no matter how hard I've looked. Next, we have one that I'm coming up to read in November for Medieval Monthly, and that is The Travels of Sir John Mandeville. And look at that fun cover right there, right? I mean, that tells you everything you need to know. This is a whimsical adventure story written, I believe, in the 12th century, no, 14th century, written around 1356. So this is going to be a fun read. It's not very thick. It's going to be all kinds of enjoyment. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, this should catch your attention, right? There's also another isle where the people live just on the smell of a kind of apple. And if they lost that smell, they would die forthwith. I mean, how cool is that? All right, we'll save that one for last. Next, we have another installment from the Ideal Bookshelf. Not in the exact same edition, but I'm happy with this one. Boom! This is nice, leather-bound, complete and unabridged H.G. Wells science fiction treasury. So this is 6 complete novels. I'm so excited to have this. So it's got a preface by the author. It's got The Time Machine, The Island of Dr. Moreau, The Invisible Man, The War of the Worlds, The First Men in the Moon, and The Food of the Gods. I've read half of those, for sure. I believe maybe even 2/3 of those. I know I have not read The First Men in the Moon or The Food of the Gods. I think I've read The Island of Dr. Moreau, but it's been long enough I don't remember it. But I've got a reread of The War of the Worlds coming up with Alicia Reads and Rambles. I think that's her channel name. I'm terrible with names. But I've got that coming up in November. I'm excited to reread that as part of New Worlds November. Last but not least, this is Steve Donahue's Vault. Well, it was already on my radar. It was already on my TBR. It was one that I wanted to pick up, and it bumped onto my cart based solely on Steve Donahue hauling book 4 in this, which is apparently coming out very, very soon. And I said, you know what? I need to start it because if Steve says this is a great series, I need to get in on it. And so that is A Hero Born. So this is Legends of the Condor Heroes by Jin Yong. This is book 1 in the series. I've got a local library that has books 1 through 3. So I've got book 1. I plan to read this soon, so I'm ready for book 4. I won't read it when it comes out, but I hope to read all 4 of them by the end of the year, maybe. Fantasy fans, buddy, read this with me, right? Free pick right here. Set in China, 1200 AD. I'm excited for that. I've got one more on the way that hasn't arrived yet because it was a separate purchase. See, this haul got me a free book on Thrift Books. So as a add-on, I got Children of Huron on its way, so I had to grab a Tolkien on its way. It's a nice hardcover. Hopefully it's in good condition. You never know with Thrift Books, but that's part of the fun. I'm pretty pleased with the condition of those. And so last but not least, I wanted to mention that something has come to light in September that I didn't know about. So not only is there ShakeTube or ShakeTember, whatever they're calling it these days, with 4 fantastic hosts that are going to be reading Shakespeare. By the way, I'm still going to be reading the Henriade, so if you want to read, or we're already planning to read Richard II, Henry IV, Parts 1 and 2, and Henry V, I'll still be doing those with you. Because I know I've got at least one taker on that, and I'll be excited to go through all of those as a reread and really dive in and enjoy them and discuss them and watch the Hollow Crown series. But there's also Space Opera September. Apparently this is a pretty big thing that started a year or 2 ago. And I'm kind of excited for it. I like space opera, I like sci-fi. I need to read more of both of those. And so what I did was I saw that this was a thing on Christinell, her channel. So Christinell, SFF reader. She's got a great channel. Go check her out. She's really in depth into the Hugo nominations and all the different categories, and has some great videos talking about the ones that she's done. Plans to read more of those. We've talked about doing some buddy reading here in the near future, and we are starting that in September, on September 1st, with a buddy read of The Collapsing Empire by John Scalzi. So she needs to read that series because it was nominated as a best series. So I said, well, hey, since you need to do that, let's jump in on it. Let's read that. Eventually, we might get around to buddy reading Becky Chambers' and her great series that starts with The Long Way to the Small and Great Planet, because we both need to read that. I still need to read that. But in looking at space opera as a genre, I realize there's so many of them that I haven't read. And space opera being defined in this as something that is set primarily in space. And that is the end of the definition. That's the cutoff. So if it's primarily set in space, it counts. And there's a challenge. So I did kind of a book swap with somebody, challenging them to read a book of my choosing, and I'm reading a book of their choosing. So I'm going to be reading A Big Ship at the End of the Universe by Alex White. I plan to actually tomorrow remedy my ineffectiveness at getting around to Murderbot. I'm going to try to get through the entire novella tomorrow in audio form. I've got it checked out currently. It's about 3 hours long for the audio, and I plan to, between commutes and lunch and all of that, to get through all of that. But I need more space opera, and even if I don't get to it in September, I want more recommendations. What should I prioritize? I mean, I know there are staples like Old Man's War by John Scalzi that I have not read, that I need to read. I'm looking forward to Michael from Fit to Be Read's list of his top 100 sci-fi books, because I know there will be plenty of space operas on there. But Michael, Tina, both of you are my kind of go-to sci-fi readers. Do you want buddy read a sci-fi with me, a space opera? Or give me a recommendation of a space opera that I should try to read. I'll put it on the list. I may not get to it in September, but I will get to it September, October, November, December, sometime by the end of this year, because I need to read more space opera sci-fi. So yeah, I'm going to be doing what little bit, as long as you read one book, you've qualified for science fiction or for space opera September. And I've got all kinds of fun stuff for New Worlds November, which will be another venture into sci-fi. So I'm excited about both of those, and to get more in depth into doing some sci-fi. So hit me up, give me some recs. If you read sci-fi, if you've got beloved science fiction, space opera, books, trilogies, series, standalones, whatever, let me know. I'll start making a list, and I'll start chipping away at least one a month, because I need to do more of that. So thank you again, Joe from Joe Loves to Read, for the book haul from Thrift Books. Yeah, I'm excited to get around to those as well. So it was fun to get some medieval literature, to get some books off my ideal bookshelf, and to get a It's All Steve's Fault book and another Tolkien book on its way. So I can't thank you enough. Keep making great videos, Joe, because I have loved watching and following along.